Senator, great to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to get your reaction immediately from Susan Collins, who just voted to acquit the president just a few moments ago. What was your reaction to that, being as if that she was originally 4 witnesses being called in this trial?
Well, the witness issue and the actual vote to acquit are 2 different things. So I have all the respect in the world for Susan. I know she was very thoughtful about that. I have not heard her speech yet, but I will do that tomorrow, hopefully. But look, this is a historic thing coming up tomorrow. It should have never been here. I believe it was an illegitimate process in the House. Therefore, the articles are fruit from a poison tree. Neither one of these articles rise to the level of impeachment, and I think you've seen that over the last 11 days in the Senate.
One of your colleagues, Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia, proposing legislation potentially to censure the president. He believes it might have broad bipartisan support. Would that be something you would be interested in, or do you also know that that also might not get bipartisan support?
Dead on arrival. It's time to move on. Seriously. There was nothing in that phone call except this president looking for corruption. And the other thing is, these articles themselves don't qualify. They just don't. They're not treason. They're not bribery. They're not high crimes. They're not misdemeanors. This is the first president that was accused of or tried to be impeached without being accused or convicted of a crime.
The president, no doubt, going to talk about the economy tonight. You have a very broad business background as well. What are some of the things you want to hear the president talk about tonight?
Well, we talked over the weekend, and my encouragement was, look, we've had such a good turnaround here in the first 3 years of administration, and I was part of the first meeting in the White House where we talked about this agenda. The agenda is working. I mean, 7.5 million new jobs. We have the highest middle-class income in U.S. history, the lowest unemployment in 50 years, the lowest African-American, Asian, Hispanic unemployment. I can do this all day. Lowest unemployment ever measured for the African-American community. Look, we have pulled 2.5 million people have pulled themselves out of poverty under this turnaround. What we're proving is what we believe in actually works.
The president also wants to talk about the second phase, potentially, of the tax cut bill as well. We do know that you have a widget on your screen on your website that is calculating the national debt that is continuing to add to that. Is there any concern that more tax cuts could potentially add even more to the deficit that we might not be able to pay back?
Well, the one we just did, the CBO themselves say if you grow the economy 0.4%, you more than pay for it. So all this stuff about it costs us $1.7 trillion is just not right. We know that by growing the economy, that's one of the 5 things we have to do to address the debt problem. The debt problem right now is really being driven by mandatory expenses. That's Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, pension and benefits for federal employees, and the interest on the debt. Now, we've got to save all of those and make sure we're able to handle that. We're actually spending less money today on discretionary spending as a percentage of the economy than we did in 2011. So the challenge here is for us to find a way to save Social Security, save Medicare. Those trust funds are going to zero very quickly.
I got to get your reaction to the Iowa caucuses last night. We're supposed to be getting the results any minute now from the Iowa Democratic Party. What was your reaction maybe watching the coverage last night and not knowing anybody who was winning the Iowa caucuses?
Was there an election last night?
You didn't watch it last night.
Democrats were running, right?
Yes.
Look, I think it's pretty clear. The Democrats have taken a posture that they're going to go as far left as they can go. The Green New Deal, modern monetary theory, socialized medicine. They clearly want to put forward a socialist agenda for the public to make a decision on. And I just believe that this is the wrong thing to be talking about right now, given that we're proving that what we believe in on the conservative side is actually working right now.
As a businessman, how do you think the business community, Wall Street, and even the markets would react to a potential Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren presidency?
I think it's, presidency.
Yes.
I know how it would react. When Elizabeth Warren says that she wants the federal government to take over capital allocation in America like they do in Soviet Russia and in China, that's just not, I just don't think they'll abide by that, frankly. And we know, look, this economic miracle that we've had since World War II has been built on innovation, capital formation, and the rule of law. And what we've proven under President Trump, if you pull back just a little bit on regulations and let this economy breathe, we can create jobs. We can help people pull themselves out of poverty. And that's what we're talking about right now. This is bigger than Donald Trump. It's certainly bigger than me. It's about the future of America. And this idea, this debate the Democrats are trying to propagate right now is, hey, no, we're going to create a better system. And by the way, those systems they're talking about have never worked. They failed every time in the last 100 years.
We'll get you out of here on this State of the Union tonight. No doubt a pretty big night for you guys. Who's going to be your guest that you're bringing for this?
Well,
tonight?
Actually, this has been a secret until tonight, but this is my wife. My wife has never been. And she's the reason I'm in the United States Senate. She and I prayed and talked about it, and we decided that we wanted to do whatever we could to change the direction of the country. So tonight is her night.
That's very exciting. So she's never been to a State of the Union before. So did you give her like any hints of what to expect or anything?
No, not at all.
Very exciting. Senator Perdue, such a pleasure to have you here.
So
Thank
nice
you so
to see you.
much.
Thank you.